Perfect. Okay. Okay, so I want to do one of the very fundamental ones, which is on page 355. 355.
Okay, I wonder if it's the same. Is that Binyan Seminary
Yes.
Lemorim? How do you pronounce that?
Yeah, Binyan Seminarion Lemorim, in terms
Okay.
for a seminar for teachers. Now, a little background here. This too was written when Rav Dessler was ready in 1951 in Panovich Yeshiva as a mashgiach, but he maintained tight ties to Gateshead, where he had been involved previously, and they always used to ask him advice. And in this case, they asked advice. They wanted to start within the yeshiva in Gateshead a seminary, a teacher seminary, not for the boys in the yeshiva should be able to get a degree in order to be able to become teachers in regular schools. In other words, a bachelor's degree in whatever it was in order to be able to become teachers. And presumably in from schools, but they would have teacher training. Okay.
And they'd be in subjects not limited to not
Right.
okay.
Okay, so he starts with the salutation to people who are not identified, so we'll skip that part. I received your precious letters. And I did not respond. I was very careful because he still had some vestiges of an illness. Ultimately, Rav Dessler died 3 years later. He would diminish, he wanted to diminish the amount of writing he was doing. But and then when he began not being careful, he got very much involved in the work in Panovich. So please forgive me. Says do with a very profound problem, which you touched on in your letter. I have to write quickly. Seminarion. Okay, so they want to start this class, which is seminar for teachers. By the way, nowadays, at least when I should say nowadays, because this goes back 40 years, but when I was in yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael, so they had Torah, Sorah, Shittas teaching seminars, which actually were very good and very beneficial and taught general subjects like Jewish history and also teaching methodologies. So I assume was a similar idea, even though we didn't get a degree from it, because we could have gotten a certificate, but it's probably the same idea. So I know that you're going to be careful with ultimate care. Seminarion, only to accept the seminar you're only going to accept in this program people for whom there's only the benefit of saving him. How so? So you not to accept him. You go into a regular university, but as a matriculated, internal, accepted full-time student, I'll call him regardless. So you're only going to, I'm sure you're only going to accept people who otherwise would have turned to university and not people who would have otherwise stayed completely in learning. I'm sure also you're not going to do this on your own. But rather you're going to ask the Rav of Gateshead, I believe his name back then was Rabbi Shikovitsky, but I'm not sure about that. And he is going to determine who's should go to this program or not go to this program. So there's safeguards, obviously. Calls it barley mode. It's clear to me the imposed safeguards. The name is I'm not unsure about that at all. I rely on the wisdom of your hearts for your shamayim and your shamayim which precedes your wisdom. Nevertheless, I see it as a very profound problem. The Kara Mo'Lili be, and it's very near to my heart. To counsel you, to set aside the entire concept and refrain from doing so. So obviously, with Dessler feels that this is a very profound problem to have this teacher training institute. Okay, why? So first, Dati Gami Adati, I know. It's a great Kiddush Hashem to have such a seminary. But close the bunch of moms, you're saving souls, which might otherwise go to colleges and be lost. But I have one question. How can we guarantee that the existence of such an institution will not weaken the yeshiva bacher when he's learning in this institution? I'm talking about the type of boy that where they're not such a kosher seminar. And a way to learn at university, which was such a wonderful hechsher. Hechsher of the Gateshead, yeshiva, and rov. Also maybe yeshiva. Perhaps if he did not have the alternative, he would learn in yeshiva, learn in yeshiva. Nisha ben Torah mamish, and remain a true ben Torah. And he would not entertain at all the notion of preparing for university. And would not have any plan whatsoever to get a degree, etc. But now, and then he has this reality in front of him. Already, his primary learning in the holy yeshiva is weakened from the beginning. And it develops in such a manner, and with an outlook and an ambition, that there will be no doubt afterwards. But over in this matter, it's going to be some kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. Since there's a possibility of going to the seminar, kids are going to look forward to going to the seminar. And therefore, they're going to learn with that in mind. And therefore, they're going to, of course, go to the seminar because the Hanhola and the Rav will determine, this is an ideal candidate for the seminar. But were there no seminar, perhaps that same Bacher would have been completely immersed and completely devoted and has all his entire ambition to be focused in learning. And he would not have been a candidate for a seminar. So who says that by creating the seminar, you're not creating the candidates for the seminar in and of themselves? Again, it's developed in such a manner, so then there'll be no question. They have to win the seminar in order to save it. For Chazal say, it's not the mouse that steals, it's the hole that steals. In other words, if there's no hole, the mouse can't steal. The mouse needs a hole in order to find refuge. So the fact that you have this hole, which is the outlet for the BA, perhaps that's what allows the mouse, meaning it's harder to get away from learning, to steal away the boy. Now we have the problem. How do we have the security? In terms of whether, in contradistinction to those who are in front of us now, who indeed need this fix with a seminar, because they already have the yearning to attain a BA regardless. But perhaps if we fix it for these people, in the here and now, cause many more people to require this fix in the future. And we will be those of us who are supposed to heal the souls, in fact, those who cause their illness. Perhaps you can explain to me more about what the safeguards are. But at this moment, I see no fix for this problem. Even if the based in Rabbi Gateshead, you could join it. But if you did you join the rabbis of the yeshiva themselves into the committee. The destruction which we will cause, will arise way before the question even arises whether to accept this bacher into seminary. Begins when he enters the yeshiva, how he perceives himself. Even you accept the seminary, very few kids. Nevertheless, in Yana Efsharus Hazeh, the very possibility which would exist, will confuse the minds of many of the boys. Even those who won't eventually reach the seminary. We see that when they founded a kollel in Gateshead. Even though kollel was meant for a very, very small number of the most outstanding bachrim to go on to learn after they got married. And they're also limited to a very small number because of the lack of finances. Nevertheless, the very fact that such a continuation existed led to 5 times the amount of brachim joining the yeshiva. And that's because some thought, and their hope was that they will succeed in getting into the kollel. And others were drawn after them. Hashem, and therefore the name went out. But the reality also was HaYeshivos. Yeshiva was expanding. And that way it became even bigger. And that's good if that happens for the positive. In other words, that even the possibility of a small amount of kids getting into the kollel when they get married enhances the yeshiva's size and quality to such an extent. It certainly will be even more effective when it's directed towards the side of weakening the Torah. Where the Sultan is involved with all his might and capacity. You following so far?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Well, Steve Levayer, I want to explain further. Because I know they'll understand me. But they do you'll know Shkavanasi B'zeh L'Birur Emes. I just want to clarify the truth. In this principle, prime principle, who told an affirmation, this lies the content of the distinction. Shittas Achinach shel Frankfurt, the Shittas Achinach shel Yeshivos. The Shita of Chinuch, which was in vogue in Frankfurt, Germany, which was the hotbed of Torim Derech Eretz, and the yeshivas, Volozhin, Pels, the Mir, all the yeshivas of Eastern Europe, of Lithuania. Frankfurt. It permitted secular studies. And it brought the learning university and to the level of even preferential, so which is certainly okay and perhaps even preferred. The price they paid for this, that there were the very small number, if any, of Torah greats within their the people they educated, the people brought up in their system. And even those who went on to yeshivas in Lithuania and Poland to learn, Ashkenaz, and then they went back to learn their secular studies in Germany. Rakmatim ma'od mehem, only very few of them. Mamash narich devem, literally a young lad whose capacity to count is limited, could write them down. Perhaps even fewer. Asher you who became great learners. They gained with this. That there were very few people who went off the derech by them. Now, it's true that in terms of the purity of their hashkafa, one second. I don't think that changed. No. Okay, Vinki Batsatara says Shkabas no Gel Mitusa Hagamura Mamash show Shittas HaTorah Kedosha. Now, what about the purity of their Shkafas in terms of the absolute truth of the approach of the Torah? So in the place where general knowledge contradicted it. There was some damage because they created this strange type of partnership, a fusion of the Torah and the secular. And that's possible because you can even make in one heart, you can even deal with a little contradiction. People are okay.
Sorry, 1 second. Okay, good.
People are okay with paradoxes. People do paradoxes all the time, right? So, you can have a kind of contradiction in terms between what you believe in Torah, what you believe in the secular studies. But okay, nevertheless, regardless of the fact that the Mahashkavas might become a bit strange, nevertheless, almost all of them remain Torah observant Jews, even with devotion. Some of them are very careful, even in the most particular details of mitzvahs. Okay, so in Germany, they produced Balibati Miraim Shleimim, even though they had strange hashkafas, but they did not produce very many Gedolei Torah, if any. Shittas HaYeshivos. I'll stop in this paragraph today. Next paragraph. Shittas HaYeshivos. They have one goal. To raise people who are both Gedolei Torah and Yirei Shamayim. For that they forbade university for their people educating the system. They saw no way how to raise Torah giants. Other than concentrating the entire direction of their students solely for Torah. However, don't think that they didn't realize that in this manner several people would be ruined, because now everybody can become a gadol. So they're going to fall off the bus. What happens to them, right? They won't be able to withstand this extreme approach. If they're going to get removed from the Torah derech. This is the price which must be paid to accomplish Gedolei Torah and Yirei Shamayim. Who will be educating their yeshivas. Kamulan, of course. Shame on Mishmar. They do pay attention. To do what's possible to fix things for those people who can't remain b'nei Torah. But not in a way which would be a draw or a magnet for the other people. So, for example, those who they had to allow to leave. They ensured that some of them should remain shopkeepers or other unskilled labor, which doesn't require preparations, such as secular studies. It's not geschmack, it's not going to draw people. They're not going to want to do that kind of enter that kind of vocation. But those who actually want to learn a profession, that's why those who chose an academic profession, they just ignored him. They let him drop out. They didn't try and set him up, help him in any way, shape, or form. Why is that? not so as not to ruin others, just in order to fix this one guy. Shamati shesamchu ezeh lo amaram zal. So, and I heard that they linked this to the statement Chazal. Elef nichnasim lemikra. 1,000 children enter the study of Tanakh in elementary school. And one of those 1,000 comes out and becomes a posek. Comes to one of the Gedolei Torah. Amar Kosh Baruch B'Sani Chovetz. Hashem says, this is what I want. In other words, it's worth sacrificing the 999 in order to get the one. It's going to be a Rambam. They mentioned the preposition of the Rambam. Yamusu elef schalim. The thousands of fools die. As long as one sage gets benefit. Okay, so this is one of the most fundamental statements of the philosophy of yeshivas in Eastern Europe, which includes 99% of the yeshivas which exist today, as opposed to the philosophy of the yeshivas of Frankfurt, which consists perhaps there is 0.0001% of such yeshivas which exist today. And the Shita of the yeshivas won out. And Rav Dessler is saying that Shita of yeshivas is specifically made to be competitive and to and is willing to pay the price in order to accomplish the Gadol Hador. The Shita of Frankfurt is not.
Why I feel like why doesn't Rav Dessler have more faith in a Talmud who can, like, if he has the capacity within him to fight like negative forces? I feel like he's not like he's like Rav Dessler's saying like, oh, like the Talmidim are gonna be so influenced so easily, and therefore because we're worried about that influence, we're gonna like allow people to fall off because of that. Like, why are we so concerned? Why can't he be stronger than that? Like, it's just not gonna happen. Like,
but stronger than what?
Why can't the Gadol Hador have to overcome that challenge?
The challenge of going to college?
No, the challenge of having the opportunity to go to college.
What do you think? You in such an institution, say YU or Lander or anything of that sort, aren't there many people who might become Gedolei Torah but are forced by the parents to go to college, or feel they have to go to college and that's a backup, or so on and so forth?
I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like some people, yeah, like I hear that, and I feel like some people like who are very, very into learning ended up like going back into learning or something like that, like when they decided on their own, is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like, I mean, obviously I don't know as much of that, so I'm just saying I feel like that you have the power to do that if that's what you want.
Right. So that is he's not trusting people. He doesn't want to trust people to actually come to that conclusion on his own.
Does Rebbe agree with this mahalach in general, or
no? But I want to finish it before we discuss it further.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
All right. So we'll continue next week in Mir Hashem.
All right,
okay.
Thanks so much, Ari.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.